Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jackie. I hope you hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Today I'm going to be sharing this makeup look with you. So this is my minimal everyday makeup for summer. It is really hot right now in LA and I don't really want to be wearing a lot of makeup products. This is pretty much how I do my makeup for filming videos, for when I do outfit pictures, and if I want to look a little bit more decent and put some makeup on my face. All the makeup I'm using is super easy to get, very affordable, and they're all drugstore, so if you're looking for some good products, then I really recommend these. It takes me about maybe 10-15 minutes to do this face, and it's just really simple, so I thought I would share it with you today. So let's just see how I did this makeup look, shall we? Starting off my makeup, I'm going to take my favorite primer. This is the one from Wet n Wild. It's their hydrating primer, and I'm just taking a few drops along my face. I just love this stuff and how cooling it is, especially of this time of year. So I try and use the whole entire dropper, and then I just rub it into my face along the T-zone, my cheeks, everywhere that needs to have extra hydration, and yeah, I just smooth it into my skin and let it absorb in. Next, I'm taking concealer. I normally don't use foundation with this kind of look. I just take some concealer. I do some underneath my eyes to get my under eye area, and I do mini triangles, and then I do my forehead, down my nose, and then by my nose, and then my cheekbones, anywhere that's red, anywhere that has redness and I need to cover up. This is a pretty good base and I don't really need foundation. I can just use this as my color. Then I'm taking the Real Technique sponge that's already damp, and I'm just blending it in. It is a dream to blend in. I have no struggles whatsoever. I go from the bottom up, so I do everywhere else but my under eye circles first. So I'll start with my cheeks and my chin, and then I move up to my forehead, then I do under my eyes. I don't know, it's just my technique that I've always done, and that is how I put on my concealer. I just make sure that it's nice and blended in, and I put a lot of concealer because I'm replacing foundation, so I really need the coverage on some days I don't. It just depends on what my skin is feeling that day. So I just take the Real Technique sponge and blend it all over, blend it down my neck and wherever it needs to be, so it's all nice and even. This e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer is just the best. I love it so much, and it gives a dewy finish more than a matte, which I've been liking more and more. Before, I was a very matte girl that liked to have matte products, but this has really surprised me, and I really enjoy the dewiness, and it makes you look more fresh faced. So yeah, I'm really loving the e.l.f. concealer, and it's definitely worth the hype, so try it out if you haven't already. I was supposed to do this step in the beginning, but I totally forgot. But I'm taking this e.l.f. lip scrub and doing my lips because I really need the exfoliation, and this is such a good product. So even though I was supposed to do it beforehand, I'm doing it now. So I usually do this before my concealer, before I do any of my makeup, but I'm just taking it and just really scrubbing it in to get a really good exfoliation, and then I rub it in with my lips to really get the dead skin and dry it. Then I take my finger and really go into it some more. So that is how I get my lips nice and soft, so when I put on lipstick later, it will go on flawlessly, and it's just a nice application whenever I apply my lip color. And there you have it. I have nice smooth lips now. Now for brow pencil, I'm using this Wet n Wild one instead of my normal NYX one. This is so much cheaper, and it does the same. It's really nice, and it's more my color than the NYX one that has more like a red tone. This one has a more cool tone to it, so it matches my brows even better. So I actually did my brows myself over the weekend, and they really turned out nice. So I'm just filling in my brows, doing some soft feather-like strokes on both sides and trying to fill in the sparse areas. And it did a pretty good job, so I'm happy about that. Then with the other end, I'm just taking the spoolie and brushing them out so they're not as harsh. I do that on both my brows because I went a little bit overboard, but I like how they turned out and they're nicely shaped. So I'm just taking the spoolie and brushing it upwards and then outwards. And that is how I've been doing my brows for like an everyday natural look, so they look a little bit more put together than normal. For this makeup look, I'm not contouring my face. I'm just using a pretty pink blush and dusting it on the apples of my cheeks and brushing it upwards. So I like how this is very natural and just gives me a flush of color. And I've also been putting it a little bit on my nose to give it a little bit more sun-kissed effect. And I just blend it in and brush that blush all over my cheeks and then again my nose. And I like how it turns out. Also, how pretty is this blush color for summer? I love it. For eyeshadow, I'm taking this Brunch Date palette by Colourpop and Zoella. So this is my favorite drugstore palette. I'm just taking the dark brown shade, the only dark brown shade in this palette that is matte, and I'm using it as a liner. I discovered this trick and I really like using a flat top brush and just brushing my waterline with it to give that smoky effect and just to substitute liner for it. I don't really like using a dark liner for every day, so this is just like my makeshift eyeliner, which does incredibly well, and I really like this trick. So I am just taking that shadow and blending it out onto my lash line. Then I just take a brown eyeshadow from any palette that I'm using and dusting it all over the lid with a crease brush. I just find that it just gives me a little bit more definition with my eyes. I'm not trying to go too crazy or anything for every day. I just want a bit of color, so I just take any light brown eyeshadow and dust it onto my eyes. And I do the windshield wiper motion to really blend it in, so it gives that effect that I'm kind of wearing eyeshadow, but I'm not. So I've been doing that, and you can just use any light brown eyeshadow you have, either drugstore or high-end, and that's what I do. I just blend it in and make sure they're both even on both sides. That's my everyday eyeshadow look. For mascara, we're using my favorite L'Oreal Lash Paradise. And I'm just applying, I think I did 2 coats on my eyes. I really want my eyes to pop. And since I'm not wearing lashes or much of anything, I just do 2 coats of mascara to give more volume to my lashes and make my eyes look more awake. I love this mascara. This is the only drugstore highlighter I actually have. So I'm just taking this. I used this a lot last summer though, and it reminds me why I used it a lot, because it just gives that nice pinky glow and it blends in with the blush very well. So I just dust it on my cheekbones, on the tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow to highlight everything, and it gives a subtle glow. This has been my go-to lip shade for the past, I don't know, few weeks or so, and it's just so pretty. It's like a My Lips but better color. It's this berry nude color and I love it so much. It does have a pink tone, and it's a dupe of a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, I've heard. So it really gives that nice effect, and it's not too expensive, and I love the finish of it. It's matte and not drying, which I love that about it, and it stays on all day, which is a plus. And there you have it. That is my minimal makeup. It's my no makeup look, and I love how it turned out. And those are the steps on how I did it. And that is it for my 10-minute minimal makeup for summer, featuring affordable drugstore products that I've been loving. I will link everything I mentioned down below in the description, as well as what I'm wearing, including my hair accessory, my jewelry, as well as all my social medias. I have Instagram, and also I have a fashion blog, which is fashionxfairytale.com. Those will all be linked in the description below. And there you have it. That is it for this week's video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone!